Hello, it's Alex. Welcome to my channel. Thank you for joining me. This video is probably going to be my last of the year. So yeah, a bit of a kind of, I suppose a bit more chatty because I haven't done Vlogmas this year. I don't really do it. It's just a lot of work. But I did think this one would be a bit more of a kind of chatty catch up, talk about Christmas, a few things that I am planning to sew. So I am about to, well in fact today when this video goes out, I will be driving down to Bristol to collect my middle child, my youngest daughter. Normally the poor thing, when she comes home, she doesn't get to come home as often as the other two because Bristol is much further away than where they live and it takes about 3.5, possibly even 4 hours to drive there. So for me it's not achievable to do there and back in a day. Also we have an electric car so it needs charging. I just couldn't, that's just too much driving. I need to stay overnight. So poor old thing, she arrives like, especially at Christmas, like a pack horse with, you know, umpteen bags all over her. And I said to her, right, come on, I will come and get you this year. So that's what I'd be doing. Probably as you're watching this video, I'll be driving down there and staying overnight. And then once I bring her back, then my oldest daughter is working but able to work from home. So she will come here and pretty much take over this living room during the day and it becomes her office. And then a couple of days later, my son will come home from university and it will be his birthday. He will be 21 and I probably tell you this at Christmas time every year. He and his sister and Queenie are both the same age for about 3 weeks in the year. So she doesn't turn 22 until January. So yes, my favourite fun fact is that Christmas 2001, we had one baby, Ruby would have been 3, and by Christmas 2002 we had 3 and none of them were twins. Yeah, I'm only just recovering really. So I'm about to have the house full of kids and I just don't think that I will get a chance to come and make any videos and talk to you guys. But there are still quite a few few bits and pieces that I want to sew. I think I'll just be more snatching a bit of time here and there as and when I can. So one thing I wanted to show you, now I showed my husband this and he said it was hideous. So it's clearly not for everyone. I am part way through making a shirt from this fabric which has got a mid-century Christmas print on it that I bought from Bornella fabrics. It's just a button-up shirt and I don't know if you can tell, that is the sleeve that is partly pinned on, but it's, yeah, it's constructed, apart from the sleeves haven't gone on, the cuffs are there. Don't think have I done the buttonholes yet? No. I'm such a chicken, I'll have left them to the last. But yeah, this fabric, Tanya at Bornella Fabrics, I think she put a picture of it on Instagram really early on. I think it might have even been September. And I love all things mid-century, I really, really do. And I kept looking at it and thinking, what can I make out of that? And then going, nothing. There is nothing you can make out of that you would wear, just resist. And then she had a Black Friday sale and the resistance dissipated. And if I'm really honest, I'm not entirely sure myself about it as a shirt, but I thought at least I know I will wear a shirt. Yeah, can I just say that I started making this before I came to the concluding part of my curated closet, because if I was abiding by those rules I wouldn't have made this at all. But you know, it's this close to being finished that I might as well finish it. I used the Pattern Emporium all-in-one shirt pattern. I like that one because it has a standard collar like this with a collar stand, but it also has the option to do a camp collar, and if you're new to shirt making, their instructions are always fabulous, so it's a really good one to go for. But I just find it to be a good sort of universal shirt pattern. and I just like making shirts. So I've got that to finish at some point. I just do find it really hard at this time of year. I don't know, I was going to say is it a woman thing, but that might be unfair, but it does feel like we are incredibly lazy over Christmas. We're very lucky in that we get to have, my husband gets to have quite a lot of time off. His company he's always worked in creative industries, and they tend to close between Christmas and New Year. And so we have a lot of time of just endless pajama days, milling around, you know, coming together to play board games and watch Christmas movies and do all of that. But then we also all have our own hobbies, and, you know, we do a lot of lying around reading or, yeah, doing our hobbies. The girls and I both like making things, so, yeah, it gets very, very lazy. But in the run-up to it seems to be incredibly stressful, trying to get everything sorted, trying to think about food, and yeah, even silly things like who needs picking up from where and when, and I don't know, getting bedrooms ready, and oh, that's before we even talk about the presents. So it's a very busy time of year, and that's probably why I won't be making a video for a little while, and I'll see you in January. But yeah, I did just at this point in time just want to talk about the sponsor I have for this video, and I hope that you know by now that the only sponsors I ever talk about are the ones that I really believe in. And today it's Readly, because I have found having the Readly app with all its access to so many newspapers and publications to be really good at this time of year, because you can sometimes you just need a little bit of time out and, you know, chance to have your cup of tea. This isn't moving anywhere, by the way. I always have to tell you that. It's never moved. I won't be spilling it. To sit down with a cup of tea and to just take a little bit of time to kind of have a good old read. And I really love it. I have mine on my iPad. Once you've told the app which interests you have, which you do just when you're starting it up, super quick and easy, the app will then offer suggestions for other publications that you might like, which is brilliant. The feature I particularly like is the ability to bookmark things, because as you may know, I have an absolutely dreadful memory. So whenever I see anything that I like, I can bookmark it within the app and then go to my homepage and find all the things I've bookmarked. And so I use it for all sorts of things. I've got an article here about Carlos Sainz, who is a Formula One driver. As you know, I love Formula One. I've got some Christmas crochet patterns here, because my daughter, the one I'm about to pick up from Bristol, she just learnt to crochet in the last few months. She's just been doing granny squares, and I thought that the two of us could have a look at some of these small projects that you get done fairly quickly. There's one here for a Christmas stocking, and the one I particularly like, there's one here that's like a wreath, which I thought was something we might do together. You've obviously got all the fashion magazines. I tend to bookmark. I've bookmarked a couple of pages on here are books, because as I said, I usually do quite a bit of reading over Christmas. Hopefully I'm going to remember to tell you about a book in a minute. I'll come to that in a bit. Things like images of Christmas tables and festive food, all of that sort of thing. I always cook the Christmas dinner, and we've got a bit of a plan this year that involves everybody leaving the house and coming back once the meal is literally ready on the table. So I really want to, I've been looking for ideas of how to make that, you know, have a real kind of, spectacular is a bit OTT, but to have a real impact when everybody comes in. So I've been bookmarking ideas for kind of Christmas tables, and obviously we have the sewing magazines. I particularly keep being drawn to this one called the pattern pages. What is great about the pattern pages is that their patterns are downloadable. So I have got a really good offer for Readly. So you can get 2 months absolutely free if you click on the link that will be in the description box below, and you have no obligation, so you can cancel at any time. The cost of the Readly subscription thereafter is really inexpensive, especially when you consider how much access you have to so many magazines and publications. But it's not that expensive, you know. It's the cost of a few, I don't know, let's say probably half a metre of good fabric, something like that. But yeah, lots of really, really good access. This pattern here I spotted on the pattern pages is one that I am going to make. It fits perfectly with my plans, and one of the things I've got on my mood board. It's called the column dress. It's a jersey dress, and the link's completely clickable, so you can just click through and download it like any PDF we normally would. So I find it to be really, really good for absolutely all sorts of things. It's also great to not have to worry about, you know, putting things in the recycling and throwing away all that paper. It's great to have it on an app. So yes, in the description box below for that 2 months free, absolutely no obligation, so you can cancel at any time. It's a great way of just trying it out, seeing if you really enjoy it. So let me show you something else I'm planning to do. Haven't done it yet, but actually that it kind of links to Readly in a way, because I don't know about anyone else, but don't you, when you see things in magazines, often think, well, I could sew that myself, and when you see things online. And I spotted somebody on Instagram talking about these detachable cuffs that you put on over a sweater or a jumper, and they were made out of sequin fabric, and it was just a way of jazzing up makes me laugh. That sounds like the sort of thing my mum would have said. Anyway, making your jumpers a little more festive without going off and buying a jumper that you're going to wear once in a blue moon. And I thought, I could make that. And when I was at my local fabric shop, went to see, do they have sequins on a stretch fabric? And yes, they do. So I've bought some in red, just bought the minimum amount you can buy. It's 40 centimetres. So I bought some in red, and I've got some in purple. I was really hoping they'd have black, because you know recently I've made that Seam Work Astoria in black, little cropped one, and I thought to just have black sequin cuffs against the black jumper would look really nice, but I'm quite happy with a contrast too. And all I'm going to do is use the same kind of method that you would if you were making a scrunchie. I will link to the video I like. I can't remember what she's called. She's called Melly Sews. That's it. I've used that video before to make scrunchies, and I'm going to use exactly the same method, but just make it wider and measure round my wrist to work out what my wrist measurement is over the top of a jumper, and then just make 2 detachable cuffs. And I think it will work really well, and it should be fairly quick and easy. I have done a little bit of test sewing on these sequins to see just how difficult it was, and to be honest, it wasn't. The only thing I would suggest that you do is, I mean, I wear my glasses for sewing anyway, but if you don't wear glasses, probably a good idea too, because I did have the odd sequin that pinged, and you don't want a sequin in the eye, do you? But yeah, I think that should be a pretty quick and easy way of making some little detachable cuffs. So I'm really looking forward to the kids all coming back. We haven't done any decorations in the house at all, and that is really unusual for us. We really like to go to town with our decorations. We tend to do the whole of the downstairs, and we have lights going up the stairs as well. And the girls really like to be kind of part of that, and they have insisted that we wait for them to come home. So this feels really, really late, but I'm really looking forward to it. We always it always feels like the beginning of the season for us. We put on Christmas music, we usually buy a big tin of Quality Street and a bottle of Bailey's. This will now be my second teetotal Christmas, so I've found that you can buy cream with Bailey's flavoured cream. So I'm going to have some Bailey's flavoured cream in my coffee, and they can have Bailey's. That's fine. I am really looking forward to having another teetotal Christmas. I did not miss it at all last year. I'm hoping to get time to make myself something else to wear on Christmas Day. In the past, I have made Christmas pyjamas, and we did spend the whole day in our pyjamas that year. I think this top that I'm wearing now was last year's. This was a Minerva fabric. I'll link to the blog post that I did at the time. I really like this because in the end it's really just a raglan sleeve sweatshirt, but just being in this velour makes it feel a little bit more festive. And obviously I'm going to finish my shirt, but what I'm planning to make is a pair of gathered drawstring wide leg trousers in velvet, in the same way as this. It'll be nice and casual and as close to wearing pyjamas again, but at least it'll feel quite festive. So I'm really hoping that I get the time to make those. They are quite a straightforward make, and I should be able to carve out enough time to do them. Fingers crossed. I've still got, how long have we got? 10 days, something like that. So yeah, I should manage to do it. And yes, the other thing that I've got to do, and I've really only got a couple of days, is I've got all my fabric still sitting in my son's bedroom, ready to be logged onto Stash Hub. And you know, I said that I was planning to do an hour a day. It's been more like an hour a week, and it is literally covering his bed. And he will come home on the 19th. The poor boy will need to get into his room, so I've got quite a lot on my hands. Hopefully I will get it all logged onto Stash Hub, and if not, then hopefully I will make a serious dent in it and find somewhere to put the rest of it while he's here. Yeah, it's always this time of year that you take on these tasks, isn't it? I've also got some blinds that I want to make. Whether I get the time or not to do that, I don't know. You might remember, it was about this time last year I painted this room from, it was like this same kind of grey, and I painted it this dark green, and we put up some curtains, and previously they were just blinds and they were just a white fabric, and they are still there because this house is very drafty, so I still want the blinds there to help with the drafts. But it doesn't really work, and I want to make blinds out of the same fabric as the curtains, which I have. I have the fabric all ready to go. But also because when I took the blinds down to paint the room a year ago, they shrunk. So if ever you needed proof that you should always pre-shrink your fabric, I clearly didn't think that counted with blinds, and it really did. Because it really bugs the living daylights out of me that they now hang about that high off the window ledge. So combined with the fact that they're the wrong colour and they are not the right length, I am dying to get them taken down and to make some new blinds to go up. They are, what are they called, the foldy up ones, Roman blinds. So yeah, I doubt I'll get all of this done, but those are my plans. And then once we get to pretty much Christmas Eve, I will forget any sewing at all and go into more of a kind of mooching around. As I said, I will probably do some other crafty things, and yeah, hopefully a few little crochet type projects that I've picked up from some of those articles in magazines on Readly, and lots of reading. So I was going to mention something about a book, wasn't I? So you might remember, if you're somebody that's been watching me for a while, that a couple of years ago, it was just before COVID, my friend Nicola had her first book published, and she's had another one published. This is, I think, her third book, and I just thought I would give it a mention for no other reason than she's my friend. Complete blatant promotion. It's called Swimming for Beginners. It is a really nice read. I am actually only about halfway through it at the moment. Somebody has been mentioned in the acknowledgements. Just saying. But yeah, if you want something that's a really nice read while it's kind of horrible and cold outside and you want to be all snuggled up and warm, something that's a really easy read, I will put an Amazon link below, but go buy it from your local independent bookshop. She's a really good writer. Not just saying that because she's my friend. I just had a little look on Amazon. All the reviews on Amazon are really, really good too. So it's not just me. But yeah, if you fancy a read, go check it out because she deserves it. So don't forget the Readly offer. All the information will be in the description box, but for that 2 free months you can cancel at any time, no obligation. It's a really nice one. I really suggest you go check it out. But that is me done for this year. So I wish you all a happy Christmas. I hope you all have a fantastic time. I won't be back until the new year. I'm not even going to think about sort of non-festive sewing until January. I'm going to think about skirts in January. And I am kind of looking forward to hitting 2024. Can't believe we're in 2024. But anyway, 2024 with all my knowledge from that curated closet process, including some of my more recent mistakes. But I'm not even thinking about that until January. So yeah, I hope you all have a fantastic Christmas and you all stay safe. And I just want to say again, thank you so much for being such a wonderfully supportive community. Honestly, Merry Christmas. Bye-bye.